What's going on, guys? Ronnie here, back again with another video for you. So I ride and do tricks on both skateboards and longboards. Most recently, I've been riding a lot of electric skateboards, and you can't do tricks on those, can you? So electric skateboards are mainly used for commuting around a city or just cruising around with for leisure. And when it comes to tricks, a street skateboard is probably what you think of first. Or if you're hip, you probably know about freestyle longboarding or dancing. But what about electric skateboards? Why aren't people doing tricks on these? Well, the biggest reason is the fact that they are so heavy. The average street skateboard weighs around 7 pounds and the average electric skateboard weighs around 15 pounds or more. And because of the longboard shape of these boards, it's naturally harder to do tricks because you don't have a kicktail to pop your board up, which is the basis of all tricks. But with a little bit of creativity and a bunch of determination, there are some tricks you can do on an electric skateboard, and today I'm going to show you 10 that I've done, most of which are really easy actually, and you can probably do them too. Starting things off with the very first trick, which is the hippie jump. This is a trick where the rider jumps above the board, leaving it on the ground to pass underneath the object that the rider is jumping over, and then landing back on the board. This trick actually might be a little bit easier on these electric longboards because you just have more room to land on, and to practice you could set up your own obstacles at whatever heights you feel comfortable with. This next trick may or may not be a trick to you depending on how core of a skater you are, and that is dancing. Dancing in longboarding is one of the more artistic and generally flatland style of skating. Dancing literally means that the rider is dancing on the board, you're doing these cross steps, you're rotating your body, and this might be one of the easiest tricks you can do since you're not actually popping up your board. There are a bunch of techniques and moves when it comes to dancing, which may be simple to learn, but combining them together and making it look fluid, that can take some practice. Me, personally, I'm not very good at it. Trick number 3 is the boneless. A boneless is a street trick where you grab the middle of the board with your hand, plant one foot on the ground to pop the board up, and then land back on the ground with both feet on the board. Because an electric skateboard is way heavier than your standard skateboard, you're gonna have to do some adjustments with how much effort and where you place your feet on the board, but it is definitely possible to do. The fourth trick are some shove-its. Shove-it is a skateboarding trick where you make the board rotate 180 degrees under your feet. Because of the lack of a tail, this can be kind of tricky to do on an electric skateboard, but if you have at least a little bit of a nub of a tail, you can do this. And the secret is to do either nollie or fakie shove-its, leading with the motor or the heavier side of the board. This way the weight and the momentum of the board can carry itself around for the full rotation. Trick number 5 is the early grab. This trick is exactly what it sounds like. It's an aerial grab trick where you grab the board early and you jump up to bring the board with you. You bend down and spring your weight upwards while holding onto the board to get a little bit of air. Obviously it's going to be a bit harder to do since the board is way heavier than your typical longboard or skateboard, but with some practice and maybe a little bit of time at the gym, you'll be soaring in no time, a few inches off the ground. But hey, air! Trick number 6 is another longboard trick, and that's the ghost ride kickflip. This is the easiest flip trick that you can do because you're not doing a real kickflip. This trick's performed with your back leg while your front leg steps off the board and your back foot flips over and you land on the board with both feet. This trick is easy, but in order to make it look good, you gotta do it in one fluid motion. Otherwise, it just looks dumb. Next up are some power slides. These are a little tricky to do on electric skateboards depending on the type of motors you have and the wheels that you have, but with a little bit of practice and some loose trucks, you should be good to go. Like the shove-it, I recommend using the motor side to lead the board and sliding on the free wheels. This way you don't accidentally mess up your motors and break your expensive toy. It also helps if the wheels that you're sliding are grounded or at least a little bit worn, because new wheels tend to be grippy and don't slide very well. Trick number 8 is the Chinese nollie, or the nollie bump, or the nollie crack hop, or you can call it whatever you want. So this is a fake nollie because you're not actually popping the nose like you would a traditional nollie. Instead, you're using a crack and ramming your wheels into it while jumping into the air. When your wheels hit the crack, it pops your board up, making it look like you just did a nollie, when in reality, you're just a wizard, Harry. A lizard, Larry. A blizzard, Barry. This next trick is... I actually don't know what the name of this trick is called. I guess you can call it like a hand flip or something. I call it a Harambe Flip. R.I.P. Harambe. The reason why I call it that is because if I ever saw a gorilla skating and he flipped his board, I think this is how he would be flipping his board. So this is done kind of like the early grab, but when you're airborne, you use your hand to quickly flip the board and land back on top. This one is pretty hard to do. If you guys try and do this, I recommend tying your shoes. And hopefully that solves that. Why does my shoe keep coming off? This last trick is a trick that I had to battle. It's a trick that I do all the time on a regular longboard, but on one of these, it's just way harder because of the weight. And that's the old school Varial flip. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do one of these on an electric skateboard, and for good reason, because it's just so hard to do, and honestly, it's extremely difficult, but kind of satisfying to be able to do something like that. I've got a trick tip for how to do it on a regular longboard, and it's basically the same on an electric board, just use like 10 times more energy. And here's a bonus trick for you, and that's a no comply to get up a curb. If you guys want me to do a full video on how to do this, let me know in the comment section down below, and I just might! Anyways guys, those are 10 of my favorite tricks to do on an electric skateboard. Let me know what your favorite trick was in the comment section down below. Should we be doing tricks on an electric skateboard? Honestly, I don't think so. When it comes to tricks, just stick to your regular board. These boards aren't made for that. They're just so heavy and they're expensive if you break it. But then again, if that's what's fun for you, I say go ahead and do it. Do tricks on these boards. Hey, that's what it's all about. It's all about having fun. There are no rules to skating. Do what you want, man. Just do you, bruh. Actually, here's one rule that I want to give you guys. You guys remember the first trick? The hippie jump? Well, it's best to use a stiff deck. I wouldn't want to do it on a cheaper or even a flimsy deck because, well... yeah. And whatever you do, just don't land in the middle. Don't land in the middle of the board. I don't know if you guys can see it, but right here, that's where there's a crack on this backfire board. And on the other side, yeah. So I got some pretty deep cracks right there. Another big crack right there. So we got 2 big cracks. Whoa, oh, I did not notice this. A couple more big cracks here on the nose. Hey, well, look at that. Whoa, focusing. Everything still seems a-okay. Really glad that that's not broken. Anyways guys, that's gonna go ahead and wrap up this list video. If you guys enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to support my channel, the merch store is linked down below. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell to be a part of the Stoked Squad. And until next time guys, stay stoked. I'm out.
Trust me, I've seen stranger things. This world don't feel the same. Lost up, can't feel my face. The winds don't speak to me anymore. But life is here plenty. Won't feel I've lost my way. Sleep is creeping up.